Hey guys, so I am here to do the review show for the shortest test in history, the second test between South Africa and India. It was a crazy display of cricket at Newlands. I was live at the game to be able to witness it. Quite scary, quite sad to witness the team perform the way they did. I was really hoping that South Africa would put a bit of a better fight in with regards to the game. It wasn't the same type of match that I was hoping for when it comes to South African cricket, particularly the new guys who are not performing. On today's show, we're going to be discussing obviously everything that took place in this particular match, what happened obviously from a summary perspective, and then obviously get into Coach Shukri Conrad's press conference, which I'm going to go with straight away. But before we get going, before we get started, please subscribe to the channel. We're on the route to 5,000 subscribers, so please go ahead and do so straight away and click that notification bell for all future videos as well. So I don't want to keep you guys too long because you know we had a failed stream previously, so we're going to try and do this and give us a second chance. And let's get straight into today's video, and I'm looking forward to discussing this. A very good evening and welcome to Cricket Fanatics Magazine. This is your review show. I'm your host, Khalid. This is the show where we talk about everything that happened between South Africa and India. I've started the show a little bit earlier because of the guys that already watched the previous show that I canceled and deleted from the channel, so that I can give you guys a quick overview from what happened for the guys that watched this video a little bit later. So what happened in the first section was that poor shot selection from South Africa on day two saw David Bedingham and Kyle Verreynne lose their wickets early on. I think that was more down to shot selection, poor shot selection, rather than the pitch itself. I don't think that their wicket was completely as a result of the pitch that we were complaining about as fans, that we were complaining about as media. Ultimately, it was the selection of shots that they picked to play that made them actually ended up losing their wickets. So we needed one of those players to stick around with Aiden Markram, who was obviously the star of the show in this particular match. He was definitely the one that stood out. He was definitely the one that I thought that was the main guy in this particular match. So he scored a complete century, and he was actually absolutely apologies for the noise over there. So Marco Jansen then came to the crease and he helped with regards to his performance, with Markram's performance, to help him get to that half century. That was the first step. Get Aiden Markram to a half century and allow him to be able to establish himself in the game, really grow himself into the game, and put on a performance that we know he is capable of. So we saw Aiden Markram really play a very matured knock and a dominant knock. It was really entertaining to see that take place. He was phenomenal in his approach. He was phenomenal in the way that he performed. I think he was very attacking. He really showed his ability that we all know we can of Aiden Markram. That century was phenomenal to see live. His first one at Newlands as well. And the thing that I think Aiden Markram needs to learn is probably that consistency. We've seen him perform many times before and really do an amazing job. But to get that consistency in every single test match is something that we would like to see from Aiden Markram. Let him take it forward. Let him play with that certain consistency consistently. And then we can obviously see if he can be that player that we always wanted him to be for South Africa. We've always said that Aiden Markram has the talent to be a test great. Even at the top of the order, I know a lot of people want to move him down to 4, etc., and all of those type of things. But I think that him playing at the position that he's playing at, I think it's the perfect position. He just needs to find the consistency going for himself. But Marco Jansen hit the ball directly to Boomerang caught and bowled, and that's where things got a little bit wonky. That was kind of our last opportunity to really put runs on the board. We were only took a slight lead at that point. And then Keshav Maharaj didn't stick around, and I was a bit disappointed about Keshav Maharaj because hitting the ball to gully, playing a massive stroke. No need for that. I would like to see someone like Keshav Maharaj really use his batting ability, stick around with the players that are at the crease and that are in, and then allow them to be the dominant figures in a particular match. But that didn't happen. He kind of threw his wicket away, and I didn't really enjoy that from Kesh. I wanted a lot more maturity from him. I wanted to see him actually stick it out, and I wanted to see him actually be the guy that sees the innings through with Aiden Markram. At least get 150 on the board was the aim. I think a lead. I think if we had about 150 on that board, I think we would have probably been able to have a much better fight than what we saw from the boys ultimately. We would have maybe seen a completely different game towards the end, especially with the wickets that fell towards the end for India. So there was definitely something in the wicket for them. After Maharaj lost his wicket, Markram decided to really farm the strike and try to get his century. There were two particular maximums that I thought were absolutely phenomenal. There was a pull shot for 6 and a straight drive that he was absolutely beautiful, that he hit straight down the ground. It was a phenomenal shot. He brought up his 100 in 106 of 103 balls. There were 17 fours and 2 sixes. And he was incredible in the way he performed, I think. Then KG went out. It was first Markram went out for 162 for 8. Then KG went out for 162 for 9. And then Andre Berge and Lungigiri tried to kind of fight a little bit and put in a little bit of fight from a tail enders perspective, but they were all bowled out for 176. And South Africa only had a lead of 79. And then ultimately it was the Indian batters that batted quite quickly to get to the target. Didn't really wait around too long. They came out and they tried to chase down the deliveries as fast as possible, and they managed to do so with quite ease. And South Africa lost the match by 7 wickets, and obviously drawing the series. I think the only really positive thing that we can take out of this is that India have never won a series in South Africa, and we've kept that record. But they managed to beat South Africa for the first time at Newlands, which is a difference. This was the shortest test ever in 642 balls, beating the 656 ball mark set by Australia and South Africa in the 1932 test at Melbourne. So that's a record that we don't really want to have. This was the shortest test in history. 1.5 days, guys. I've never had such a short day of test cricket, covering test cricket in my own entire life. It was quite shocking from that perspective. I can't believe that I witnessed a test match only in 2 days. We've had a test match in 3 days and a test match in 1.5 days. It's quite embarrassing. Yes, the wicket was bad. We have to acknowledge that the wicket was bad. It wasn't a regular Newlands wicket that we expected. I don't see wickets like this from a South African perspective when I see domestic cricket. And I wanted this game to go into day 4, day 5. But I was hoping for a day 5 test for the first time, because based on the domestic cricket games that we've seen at this ground, generally speaking, the wickets are really good for batting. And there's a contest for both ball and bat. And we normally see like a lot of wickets in maybe the first session or so. But then the wicket kind of evens out, and we kind of see a good contest for the batters to come and try and really put their stamp on the match. We didn't get this from a South African from this particular wicket. This was completely different to what I'm used to, and I've covered quite a few matches at Newlands, and I've never seen a wicket that was so uneven throughout the test match. It was quite a shock, but I must say that the wickets that fell had a lot also to do with bad shot selection from our players. I don't think that it was a good approach to try and hit every single delivery. There are also other ways. Leaving the ball in test cricket is fine. Playing defensive shots is fine. Those are all things that you need to do within test cricket. It isn't necessary for you to have a go at every single delivery or play a shot or attacking shot for every single delivery. Defensive strokes are needed in a test match, particularly if you know that the wicket's going to be a bit shoddy and a bit weird. Like, that's what I want to see from our newer batters coming into the system. I understand, particularly the Western Province guys. I do understand that the 4 day games, the 4 day style of cricket that they are playing at the moment for Western Province is quite attacking. The coach has instilled quite an attacking brand of cricket with regards to them. And I do get that from Tony DeZorzi's perspective, Calvarain, David Bedingham. But Test cricket is a whole different ball game. You're not facing Mohammad Siraj and Boomerang coming in and putting the ball on a 10 piece every single delivery consistently over and over again. That does not happen at 4 day cricket. You will get bad deliveries in 4 day cricket. You will get a old spell from a bowler that is maybe not close to that level, and you can actually put him away quite consistently. So there is something, some patience that needs to be also in this particular game that needs to be drilled into our players. I think Calvarena, both dismissals, or all three dismissals, were pretty ordinary, going for shots that he shouldn't. Maybe he should have left some of the balls. So I do think that there's some things that they could have learned from this perspective. And I was a little bit disappointed with some of the application on this wicket from our batters. And normally, yes, you can see by the standard of batting by both sides once they both batted what the wicket actually is dishing up. And we could obviously see that this wicket was nowhere near good enough for a test match, especially if you want the test match to go into day 3, day 4, except day 5. It was something that I think needs to be discussed. I think that they probably will discuss it. I do think that the groundsman will be under a little bit of pressure. Now, it was his first test match that he actually that he prepared a wicket for, so maybe he gets a little bit of saving grace. But ultimately, we have to admit that this was not a good wicket, and for this to be the shortest test in history, I hate that we have the record for that. It really pains as a fan to know that we have the record for that. Um, yeah. So I'm going to, now that it's hit 6 o'clock, I think that it's perfect time now to be able to play Coach Shukri's press conference. I think that we're going to react to it live on the show. I will be uploading it a little bit later when it does get sent to us, because there was some issues with regards to getting it on time, because it was quite a massive file. So it was sent to us a little bit later than usual. But I will be playing the audio file for you guys on the show and then reacting to what was said by Coach Shukri. It is a very good presser, I think, from that perspective. I think there's a lot of great things what was said in this particular press conference. I think that Coach Shukri spoke quite well, and he was quite honest in his way. It was quite entertaining as well, and I think that it's something that we can really enjoy from that perspective. His press conference. Yeah, so I'm going to get into that very, very soon. I'm going to get you the press conference for you guys to be able to listen to it together. Um, I think that it's going to be very good for us to be able to understand certain aspects of the match that I think is important. Coach Shukri is a very well-spoken person, very good understanding of the game, etc. So it's going to be a nice presser to be able to unravel and listen to. Um, I like that South Africa are are looking ahead at the future as well. Coach Shukri mentioned quite a few things in this press conference about certain aspects of the game with regards to. Um, he spoke about quite a few things that that are important for the future, and his understanding about the wicket, etc. I think is something that we need to know. It was interesting press conference, quite entertaining, I would say, witnessing it live from Newlands. So I did try to soup up the audio a little bit so that it's a little bit louder for you guys, because we did have issues the last time when we had the audio file on the show, because obviously I didn't have available to me the press conference video quite yet. So we have to do it off the audio file, and sometimes the audio file is quite soft. But I've tried to spruce it up and make it a little bit louder for you guys. So I hope that it is clear for you guys to listen to. Otherwise, we're going to be sitting with a situation like we did the other day, where we couldn't really hear the audio and it's going to be a little bit soft. So I apologize for that, but it's not me, because I'm not recording the audio. So it won't be because of me doing it and on my side. It won't be a technical issue on my side. It will be just the fact that that's the audio file, and that's the quality of the audio file. I will be uploading the video files as soon as it gets sent to me, so that you guys can go rewatch it if you do want to. I will be uploading that to the channel as soon as I receive it. So keep up to date. Press the notification bell on Cricket Fanatics when you subscribe. Then you will get updated when that does get released to you guys. So let's get straight into the audio. I hope that it's clear, and I hope that it's very clear for you guys to be able to hear the audio this time around, because I don't think that is going to be my fault. So don't blame me for it. But I'm going to be playing it now for you guys, and let's see how if it is pretty clear for you guys to hear. Sorry if there's any background noise, etc., or static. That is not because of my side. That is just the audio files quality. But we're going to react to it now on the show. So let's get into it. I'm excited about this because this is what you guys were waiting for. So let's get into it.
Yesterday, Ashwell spoke about never seeing a Newlands pitch like this before. What do you think is the reason that it played the way it did, and what did you think of the surface?
Well, I thought I knew it very well. Yeah, never ceases to amaze you when you come here, Yeah, that was completely out of character. You gather all the information through either your experience having coached here, players having played here, speaking to various people, and then you stack up accordingly. And then, yeah, everything goes out the window when you encounter a surface like this. I don't know what people are wanting me to come out and say, whether it was a rubbish wicket or not. But you only need to look at the scores. You only need to look at, I think Neil asked the question earlier, 1.5 day test matches. You only need to look at the way they chased a little target of 80. And it's a sad state when you need more luck than skill to survive in a test match. All the ethics and values of test cricket go out the window. And this was just a slugfest, a slogathon. And whoever was luckier but take nothing away from India. They were superb. But you ain't going to win too many test matches scoring 50 odd. Lowest total ever, and we've got to own it. And we own it. But yeah, it wasn't great.
Yeah, at least that South Africa owned it. They owned the fact that they were bowled out for 55. Well, the coach is owning it. That is something that we obviously needed from the coach to admit that it wasn't the best performance from his side. They were poor on the day, and that needs to be acknowledged. And I think that was acknowledged by the coach. That is something that that I hope remains the case with every single presser that he does give. He's always honest, so I think that is brilliant. I'm glad to hear that you can hear it today, the audio. That's great. Let's continue.
both the cricket and the wicket.
Good day, Coach. I just want to ask, so you just talked about the values, etc., of Test cricket. I felt today that Aiden Markram and Rabada's wickets were very cheaply when they lost their wicket because they rushed it. But the one thing about Test cricket is staying out in the middle and taking that patience, waiting for the good ball, take a run here and there. And I felt they went for the big shots. Do you think in today's time, the patience of Test cricket is still a value that you guys strive for?
I'm going to respectfully disagree with most of what you said, but I don't think we've got enough time to go into all of that. But often the surfaces you play on makes you doubt your technique. It makes you doubt how
That's
you
true.
approach the game, and that's where I felt the game was from as early as the first couple of overs of the match. I thought Aiden was phenomenal today. Yes, he left certain balls well. He chanced his arm, and you'd have noticed he also hit quite a few sixes, which is not normally par for the course in Test cricket. But yeah, we still try and the game has moved on. We lose a lot of batsmanship because of T20 cricket. Batters like to feel bat on ball nowadays. I'm just chatting to Raul Dravid this morning, and yeah, but we want to get away from the phrase that there's a ball with your name on it. We don't enjoy it, but on this wicket, you actually felt that there was a ball with your name on it, and that often tends you to play in a certain way, and that's why we batted the way we did.
Telford?
Yeah, that's
So do
true
you
as
think
well. The wicket was something that was unusual, and when the wicket is the way that it was in this particular match, you do start to doubt your technique and the way you should approach things, and you start overthinking things, and that's I think actually happened in this particular match, which is something that we're not really necessarily always going to face. I think we'll get a lot better wickets than that. I just feel sorry for some of the newer guys that this is the type of wickets that they played their like their first few tests on.
of cricket for a long time in all sorts of roles? I'm not trying to say you're old. But so I think you're well placed to answer the question of whether the kind of surface we saw out there is symptomatic of the way a place like Newlands is possibly going down and not being maintained as well as it should be.
Yeah, I think I'm best placed to talk maybe about the cricket surface, but I'm certainly not best placed to chat around whatever else is going on here. I worked here many years ago. Yeah, and was I moved on, and but with respect, Albert, I'm not in a position to discuss the goings on between between the walls here. So, but the wicket, yeah, I think everybody knows it wasn't great.
Coach Shook, there's been a lot of
Hey guys, it's again doing this. I apologize once again for the overheating. The heat is just like too crazy here, and it's causing the laptop to overheat, etc. So I can't continue the stream. At least I gave you guys a little bit of a summary of what happened in today's match. I'm going to be uploading the press conference so that you guys can have a listen to the press conference of Shukri Conrad. I did receive it. So apologies for this two watch streams that we had, but I've given you guys a summary of what happened and a review of what happened at the beginning of the show without any hassles and without any crashing. So thanks a lot for joining. Thanks a lot for tuning in, and I'll see you guys again for another daily show very, very soon. Take care, stay safe, and enjoy the rest of the evening. And peace out, guys. Apologies again for all of the technical difficulties that we faced today.